Okay, let's get this started. Hey guys, Mtashed here, and today we're going to be looking at some of the Hunter exotics. I'm going to be explaining why I think some of them are badass and some of the best exotics in the game, as well as showing you some of the other top 10 exotics in my opinion. You might say, Michael, you don't even own all the exotics. How do you know? I've borrowed accounts and used them, or I have them on console. I played both on console and PC, and Hunter is the one I play least on PC, so I don't have that many exotics. Okay, I've tested them, I know them, just don't even worry about it. Now, as I've said before, take this with a grain of salt. There is a lot of exotics out there, they do a lot of different things, and I value them different than you might. I might say, yo, sealed Ahamkara grasps suck dick, and you might like them. That's okay. As long as I'm naming it, as long as I'm listing it in this video, there's a good chance it's pretty valuable, it's pretty strong, and you're going to want to use it if you have it. If it's your only exotic, you'll probably want to equip it because it brings some value to your character. So let's get started. I'm going to start things off with the 6th Coyote. Take a peek at that bad boy. It's kind of good looking. This chest piece gives you an extra dodge, okay? That isn't too crazy, it's not too amazing. Dodge in this game isn't as strong as the old Shade Step back in Destiny 1, for the most part. But there is added utility in dodging in Destiny 2. Being able to reload your extremely slow reloading weapon, or something like a shotgun that takes multiple bullets you gotta put into that shotgun. That's pretty valuable, being able to dodge and instantly reload that. Something like the Escalation Protocol shotgun, for example, it's pretty nice being able to unload 20 shots, reload quick with a dodge, and unload some more, right? You can also get your melee charge back, so if you're using this on something like the Night Stalker, you can have those smoke bombs coming out more frequently. So I think that the double dodge is good. I don't love it. It's not like amazing to me, but we'll use it. Now the next two on the list, I'm actually putting in about the same slot because I can't decide which one I like more, is the Knucklehead Radar and the Foe Tracer. Now these are both vision items. They give you vision on the map. They allow you to make some smarter decisions in PvP. They don't have as much value in PvE unless you're using Foe Tracer. And so I think Foe Tracer for me is the better helmet because if you're in a 1v1 duel in PvP, it will outline that player even if he goes behind cover. You know where he is and you can outplay him. It also boosts your damage a little bit in PvE, and so I think it has a lot of value. But Knucklehead Radar allows you to have your radar at all times, even while aiming down sights. So if you're hard scoping a lane with your scout rifle, your pulse, your sniper, and there's 3 people pushing you on your radar, you'll know about it, and you can adjust to that. You can pop a super, you can switch to your rocket launcher, whatever it might be. I think that the Knucklehead Radar has a lot of value. Now the next one on the list, I like the Frosties. Okay, these ones are pretty badass. Rapid cooldown gives you increased grenade, melee, and dodging regeneration while you're sprinting around. And after a dodge, your sprint speed is increased. I think that these bring a lot of value because of how much you're going to use this. You're always sprinting around whether you're playing PvP or PvE, and so you're just going to have those cooldowns more frequently. There's not too much to say about this, it just brings value. It's a nice boost to your cooldown. The Geomag stabilizers are really good on the Chaos Reach Warlock because when you sprint it kind of shoots up your cooldown on your super. Same thing, except for all your abilities. I like this, and this one works all the time, so I'm a big fan. Next one is actually right beside it, the Gemini Jester for PvP. Well, I guess PvE it disorients them too, I think, but the Gemini Jester is interesting because it can get you out of some very sticky situations in PvP, and I think they're actually pretty damn good because of it. You're removing the enemy radar, and when you dodge, it literally shakes their screen. It fades to black and white, shakes their screen. It's so disorienting that if you're in a duel with someone and they have this and they dodge, you should lose that duel. Because tracking them and figuring out where the hell they went is very difficult, and the amount of time it takes to get back on target, especially on console, it's unbelievable. On console, if someone uses this against you, you're pretty much always dead, unless you're maybe 10 sensitivity and KJ Hovey. It's so strong. I think that this one is very opinionated. I think that there's some people that think this sucks or they don't value it as much as I do, but I'm a big fan of this one. I think it has a ton of potential. Now, midway through the video, I started thinking Celestial Nighthawk is a pretty good exotic because it's a lot of burst damage. But the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized I don't think I'm actually going to place this on the list as high as I did, or even on the list, period. Celestial Nighthawk was really good because you'd have a lot of burst damage in that one Golden Gun shot. On Solar Burn, it was really good, but because the new super, the Blade Barrage, is so good, it almost devalues this, because in most situations, the kit for the new Way of 1,000 Cuts, the new Blade Barrage, is so good that you shouldn't be using the other the other solar classes. And so I actually had this on the list, and I'm Xing it out. I'm getting rid of it, because there's simply better exotics out there, in my opinion, for other classes. And if you're using solar, you should just be using Blade Barrage. So, Celestial Nighthawk, I'm sorry. I don't like you anymore. I'm sure someone's going to have a DPS test and say, no, it's still amazing. I just don't like it. It's not for me. Okay, it doesn't kill as many enemies if there's a bunch of them. And on the single target damage, I'm not blowing my load over Celestial Nighthawk over Blade Barrage. Okay, that's my answer. Next one on the list is Raiden Flux if you're using your Arc Staff. Now, Raiden Flux, as you start using your Arc Staff, you're going to do more and more damage. And it's also going to extend that duration, almost like how Geomag Stabilizer works. So you're attacking a boss, you're hitting him with your staff, and you're getting that super energy back, as well as doing more and more damage. In an Arc Burn, I think for the very first Nightfall, Prestige Nightfall of Destiny 2, my entire team ran Raiden Flux because it just hit so damn hard on the boss. And because the enemies hit so damn hard that if you weren't using the Raiden Flux and instantly killing it, it was over. You couldn't really beat it. So I liked Raiden Flux just because of the damage you can dish out. You have to get up close and personal, but you're tanky enough in your super that it doesn't really matter. I think that this one is pretty solid because every time you use super, you're getting value out of this thing. And so I like it. Big fan. But if you don't have your super, you need a strong neutral game. And that's why I value some of these other ones a little bit higher. And that is the Shinobu's Vow, which is over this guy. And where is this other one? Lucky Raspberry. Okay? Because these are neutral game exotics, a.k.a. grenade boosters. So Lucky Raspberry is one of my favorites because it works with the Arc Bolt grenade. The Arc Bolt is one of the best grenades in the game for PvP. And for PvE, you can essentially have infinite grenade energy. Because if you throw it into groups of enemies, it'll get the maximum amount of chains, which means you always get the grenade back. And so Lucky Raspberry in Arc Burn is phenomenal. It is extremely good. It's like having a grenade launcher all day. You just keep hucking grenades. As long as it hits 2 or 3 of them, you're going to get your full grenade energy back. And so I love Lucky Raspberry for that. For PvE, I think it's very, very strong when used properly. In PvP, it's also very good. There's going to be situations where you don't get your grenade energy back, but there's chances where you throw your grenade at one person, just one, and you'll get your grenade energy back. And you can throw it again, and you'll get it back, and you can spam grenades. And if there's more people grouped up, you can literally just keep hucking grenades into them, and if you get lucky enough, chain 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 grenades. And so I think it has a lot of value everywhere, but I think it also, it's in about the same slot as Shinobu's Vow, because Shinobu's Vow gives you 2 skip grenades, and they're better skip grenades. The reason why I like Shinobu's Vow for PvP maybe more is because the skip grenades are good for chasing people out of cover, for chasing them down, for securing the kill, for opening up a fight. I like Shinobu's Vow because the skip grenade is very strong when paired with this. I think overall, if I had to say which one I would use more, I would go with Lucky Raspberry because Arc Bolts are better in PvE and they're quite good in PvP in comparison. But in Shinobu's Vow, I would say gives it a little tiny bit of an edge in PvP in those 1v1 situations. I'm a little torn here. I think really, the more I debate it and talk about it on this, I think Lucky Raspberry is better, but I've wasted too much time on this. Let's just move on. Now, the next neutral game thing I want to talk about, this one might be a little controversial to you, or you don't agree with me, but the Stomp Ease. The Stomp Ease buff your sprint, your slide, and your jumping ability. It essentially gives you better control on your jumps. It gives you more jump height, things like that. You slide further. It's just an amazing exotic because of how much you're using your mobility as a hunter, how much you're sprinting around and sliding around and jumping. This is always having value, and quite a bit of value in my opinion, because how much you can outplay your opponents with that mobility. I think Stomp Ease are one of the best exotics in the game because of how much value they bring. And so I'm a big fan of these bad boys. I know it sounds good to have better grenades or more super energy or whatever it might be, but just the sheer improvement to your neutral game with this it's almost too much to pass up. I use these almost constantly on my hunter. There's almost nothing I equip over this because they're that good. So, I mean, that gives you an idea of how much I value them. The next one on the list is the Shards of Galanor. This actually might be number one. It's one or two, because getting super energy for Blade Barrage hits and kills is insanity. Essentially, if you use Shards of Galanor and you use your Blade Barrage on a boss, bam, you hit all of your targets. You essentially get like half of your super back, which is great because you have your super up way, way more often. But if you kill a whole bunch of enemies with it, you get your entire super back and you can use it again and again and again. So if you're in a situation where there's a ton of different enemies, such as the fight with the Fanatic, the Strike, he spawns so many damn enemies that you can just keep supering over and over again, killing them, wiping them, and getting your super back. And so I think that this has a ton of value because not only are you getting super energy back, which is always good, you're getting super energy back for one of the best supers in the game that Destiny has ever seen. So this is a huge, huge power boost. If you get this, you have essentially made your Blade Barrage God tier. So, big fan. Now, the next one I'm going to bring in... Jesus. Now that I think about it, I think Shard's better because it works in PvP too. Anyways, I'm going to just commit to it. I think Orpheus Rig is one of the best exotics in the game, period, because of what it does for your team. This is almost 100% a PvE-oriented exotic, because that's when it really shines. But I think Orpheus Rig is so good that if you have a Night Stalker on your team with Orpheus Rig, you've literally made any activity you're doing easier. You're generating orbs, you're CCing enemies, you're gonna have that quiver up almost all the time. You're always gonna be able to use your bow. I just love this exotic. I think Orpheus Rig is one of the strongest exotics in the game. I think that if you don't have it and you see Xur selling it, it's a must-buy. It's a must-have exotic if you're a hunter, because you bring so much value in PvE that it's a shame if you don't use it. It is a shame. You're always essentially making your team safer and stronger when you use this exotic in a way that I don't think any other exotic does. You might generate more orbs here or boost someone here, but nothing allows you to spam supers the way that this does. And so in raids, it just shines. It always shines. It's amazing. Now another one I'm going to bring up. This is kind of a bonus. Is the Wormhusk Crown. Now, Wormhusk is not as good as it once was, depending how you use it, but Wormhusk still has a ton of value. Now, I'm not saying this is the best exotic. I'm not placing this above the others. I just want to mention Wormhusk because I think if I don't mention it, people are going to be like, where's the Wormhusk? When you dodge, it gives you a small bump to your health. Well, it's a decent bump to your health. And a bump to your shield. Now, this little bump in health is enough to win some engagements if you use it smart. If you use it out in the open, you're probably going to get killed and it's not going to help you that much. But if you use it to get behind cover and then pop out and shoot the guy, or to run away, things like that, Wormhusk can be very, very strong. I think it might actually place higher than something like Knuckleheaded Foe Tracer, depending how you play the game. And so I think maybe it was a mistake not putting it on the list, but I guess it's just it's more a playstyle thing. I don't value it as much because I don't typically dodge too much compared to the average hunter, because I personally feel like if I'm dodging, I shouldn't be fighting, kind of thing. If I've picked an engagement and I dodge mid-engagement, I feel like it actually hurts me more than helps me. And so I would rather have something like Knucklehead or Foe Tracer for the vision aspect, but that's a personal thing. If you want to dodge, dip, dive, duck, and move around and get your health back, Wormhusk is awesome. But for me, I do not use it enough to value it as much as some other people do. Again, I've rambled on some of these longer than I have, or longer than I should have, but I just like to give you my thoughts and why I value something. Some people probably think Shinobu's Vow is ass, okay? But I like skip grenades. I like using them in particular ways. I think they're really good in something like Trials of the Nine or Trials of Osiris. And so I value something like this more than someone else does. Granted, those playlists don't exist right now, so half the reason why I use these, it doesn't exist. But you get what I mean. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. Remember, I don't know everything. I'm kind of an idiot sometimes, so if your favorite exotic isn't on here or it's ranked lower, don't worry about it. Use it, enjoy it, and have a great day. I'll see you guys soon. I've got another video coming out later today as long as everything goes well. And that's it. Bye-bye.